good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time zone that you are and you're watching this video now. I want to greet you and I want to say welcome to Igbo Shrine. My name is Somto, and if you're new to this channel, I would like you to subscribe, comment and share this video. So in this channel I talk about Igbo spirituality and cosmology. I talk about the obscures, everything. I'm trying to demystify spiritual practices as in the Igbo, to make it attainable, to make it reasonable, to make it logical for every single one of us out there, so we don't run away from our culture, from our spiritual beliefs, and from who we are. So I'm going to be talking about spiritual spouse. We call it the Dibia, Nwunye, everything concerning this phenomenon that people have been groomed to fear. So if this topic is something that you're going to be interested in, or you know somebody that is going to benefit from this discussion, I want you to share this video and invite this person to my channel. So guys, let's get talking. Thank you. So I'm talking about spiritual spouse today, Dibia or Nwunye, because it's not just the women that have this spirit spouse. Even the men also have their own spirit wives. So what is this concept? If we talk about it, if we try to make it, let me say, discuss it to make sense to people, I'm going to be talking about that, or I'm going to be discussing this concept based on the Igbo ancestral perception. So you don't get confused. Maybe your people, you have a way you interpret this concept here, that it's fine, it's your people. Now this is my people. This is the ancestral belief here, or the ancestral perception, you know. So when we talk about spiritual spouse, what it is, what is it? People, you go to the prayer houses, they tell you you have a spirit wife, you have a spirit something that is making you to progress in life and the rest of it. And for us now, we go to Alpha, and Alpha tells us you have a spirit husband, you have a spirit wife. Now bear in mind, in those days when a child is born, when they give birth to you, our ancestors do what we call Ewa Fago. Now it's a divination process that reveals a person's reincarnating spirit, which you call Onyowa. So once the parents meet this Dibia to do Ewa Afago, they try to, the reason for doing this Afago is basically to know who or which ancestor is coming back to life. Then they can look at the person's life, how the person lives, and they can try to make amends, try to give this person this another chance to basically meet up with the person's cosmic purpose. Now that's one reason. There are so many other reasons out there. So when they come for this Alpha, they try to do other definitions that concerns this particular child, to know, are there any cosmic alignments, what's the cosmic purpose, which you call Akalowa. Kedi Akalowa onyajiwe. You understand? So once they find out all those concepts, they're also going to find out that this child also have a spiritual wife or a spiritual husband. So they try to start at that early age to to treat, or to kind of settle all this, or acknowledge all these entities, all these spirits that we refer to as Ezumezu, because the spirit husband is actually one of it. There are other aspects of it which we talk about the Chi aspect, talk about the Agwo aspect, we talk about the Alosisomado aspect, and the rest of it. Now spiritual husband is actually one part of it that actually follows a person right from birth. So once they try to kind of do Alpha to know all those things. Now they've gone to divination. Divination has revealed this child or this person has a spirit husband or a spirit wife. What's the next step? How do they try to? Do they try to perform rituals? Because these days there are rituals that people would tell you to perform to separate you from the spirit entity that has basically betrothed you or married you, even without your consent, or how they try to say it. Because what you have to understand is that this getting married or marrying, having a spirit husband, it's not just something that just came out to be. To an extent, it's part of our EUOWA. you agreed, IOI is a form of cosmic contract. You went into this cosmic contract that this is, you're going to get married not just in the spiritual realm, but also you're going to get married in the physical realm. Now this is an agreement. Now once they've given birth to you and the spirit husband feels neglected and starts to lash out on you, now it becomes very confusing, because you start going to prayer houses here and there. So when we talk about spirit husbands, what do we actually mean? Now we have to understand that the Igbo ancestral perception believes that this life that we are, that we're having a human, our spirits having a human experience. Therefore, mando, the beauty of life. Now we believe that what we are wearing is ogodo. Well, this flesh that we have is ogodo. It's covering the spirit that is within us, which some people call it the soul, some people call it the consciousness, aka, and the rest of it. Now, they also know that we are living this life just to have like a few days, and we're going to go back to wherever we come from. Now look at how, so as spirits having a human experience, it's expected that after you've lived your life, after you've fulfilled your cosmic purpose, you're going to go back to wherever you're coming from. That's when they say, when we talk about death now, we don't look at death as the final point. We look at it as transition, moving from this point to another, to basically saturate or perform a basic cosmic purpose. Well, that's our own interpretation. Now, spirit husbands, we've been taught this is something that we fear. But while we fear this is a very integrate aspect of us, that it has been structured or designed to aid us into manifesting our cosmic purpose. Now, for some people that have that have the call, some of them, we call them Dibia. Now, this kind of people will tell you that their spirit husband or spirit wife is an integral part of their work. Now, if a person that has been called by the cosmos to serve says to you that this thing called spiritual husband is there to help me in my work, now what do you think is going to happen to an ordinary person? So by design, this entity is there to help. It wasn't designed to be malevolent. It has been designed to be benevolent, to aid you or to aid us in fulfilling our cosmic purpose, which is just one of those reasons. Now, people will ask these questions: how do I know that I have a spirit husband? How do I know that I have a spirit wife? There are a few signs. Sometimes these entities or this spirit husband of a thing is quite dormant. You don't know that you even have it. Now, this is when they choose to just let the sleeping dog lie. You understand? So, but when it is not dormant, how do you know that you have a spirit husband? So for me, the first thing now is when we talk about having sex while you're dreaming. Now, obviously, there are so many other things that is going to fight you here. There are so many other aspects. Now, let me say, for instance, now you could watch a pornographic content now. Then that means, it's you're trying to. You've probably don't really have an intimate moment with your loved one for quite a while. It's okay, your mind is fixated on having that pleasure, that good time. Well, that's understandable. But when we talk about having the sexual experience or intimacy that comes with having a spirit husband or a spirit wife, that it looks or it feels as if it is the main thing. Like you're seriously having intercourse with somebody. When you wake up from that dream, you're feeling it, you're sweaty. That's just one reason here. Now the second part of it now is having countless stupid relationships. Now, not really stupid relationships, pardon my word now. Now, these kind of people now, if they're having like a meaningless relationship with somebody, it's okay, it works for them. You understand? It will encourage that person to have meaningless relationships. But once that person is getting towards a very meaningful relation that could probably lead to love interest or marriage, something just from nowhere will make that relationship to make them to separate as a couple, and that's it. Now, another thing there is this person starts having countless disappointments. If it's for a young woman, she can't stay with a man. If a young man, he can't stay with a woman. Now, to an extent, we call this thing Igbo or Igbo rap or something. You get when somebody is afflicted by some sort of negative energy that is from the hands of an entity or a spirit or analysis and the rest of it. Now, once these kind of things happen now, in those days, I've said it before, what our ancestors did, that once a child has been given birth, I've said it before, they would do a ritual that we call Egba Afago to basically align and fix all those problems. But in situations where, or let me say currently now, that Christianity has actually taken over, and most of the time we don't even know what we're doing again, this is when you meet spiritualists, because people, the Christians or the prophets and the pastors, don't really know how to approach these things. They start by telling you to pray against it, to fast, but that's just not it. The main reason why these entities lash out is they're trying to seek for an acknowledgement. For instance, let's just bring out the principle of calling a Mmuo, calling a mad. Once you're dating or you're in a relationship, either married or you guys are just in the courtship period. Now, if you try to neglect, or if you neglect your spouse or the person you're dating at that moment, what will the person do? It's somebody that has the capacity to basically, when the person lashed out, it is going to affect you. When that person lashes out, it's going to affect you. But because we human beings don't really have that capacity, you can just squeeze your face or just kind of frown for a few days and everything's okay. But for them now, this is a way, them lashing out and afflicting people with some negative energy is a way they are trying to make you to understand that they're actually here and they exist. Is a way for them to make you to acknowledge them, which is the kind of rituals that we perform. Now, instead of going for separation rituals, the kind of rituals that a good spiritualist or a Dibia would encourage you to do are rituals that are targeted at you acknowledging its existence, not for you to separate from it, because you cannot separate from yourself. So on a great level, all these things that we refer to as Mmuo or Ezumezum are all parts of us. So we don't perform rituals to separate from them. Rather, we perform rituals to basically acknowledge them. Okay, you exist, I'm welcoming you. Now, for some people that are from Dibias now, they go to an extent of setting out a particular day within the Igbo for market days, that they use that day as they won't touch their spouse, they won't touch any woman or any man for that day. This is the day that they've dedicated to their spirit spouse. Now, that's for people that are called to serve, the Dibias and the rest of it. Now, for us now, that are not really Dibias, or for the uninitiated, which we call them Ofeki, our own job now is just to perform a simple ritual that is targeted at embracing them. Now, what does this thing do now? I've heard stories of people that say they've acknowledged their spirit husband, they acknowledged their spirit spouse, and things went from terrible to being good. Things changed for them by simply acknowledging them. Some even go as far as having apparitions, having discussions with this spirit spouse. So what a person is always been advised to perform are rituals that we call acknowledgement rituals. Now, what does this thing do? Now, this kind of acknowledgement rituals is a way of you telling this spirit husband or spirit spouse, yes, I know you exist. I'm not turning my back at you. Okay, now just know that I know you, but allow me to live this life the way I've chosen it to live. Allow me to get married. Allow me to experience life to the fullest. Then once I'm done living this life, I can return to you. Now, if you look at this now, you see that the was in one way or another, we don't believe in the concept of soulmate. You come back into this life to have your own soulmate again and the rest of it. Now, that one aside now. So after you've done this ritual, what this entity now does for you, when you come back to that same water, that same river, to perform sacrifices like a loma, and this entity now stands in for you, accepts your rituals, and make sure that your intentions are manifested. Now, knowing this now, you will see that this concept or this phenomenon of spiritual husband is not something that we fear, and it's not something you should fear. It's something you should understand, and when you understand it, you just try to do the necessary rituals. So guys, I'm going to stop here, and until next time, please don't forget to subscribe and share this video, because it's going to help me a lot. Thank you very much. See you till next time. Yeah, guys. Yeah.